Never have I seen such a beautiful sunset. Compare this with I have never seen such a beautiful sunset. Hi everyone, welcome to English with Aga. If you're new here, I help you with English grammar and vocabulary, and if you're interested in English grammar, then make sure you download my English grammar booklet. You'll find the link in the video description. So this video is about advanced English grammar. But the first thing I want to say is that you don't have to be an advanced English learner to learn advanced grammar. The rules I'm going to talk about in this video will always be useful to you, even if you're at a lower level. It's because when you're reading in English, you will see some of the things that we talk about in this video, and you might even choose to use them when you're speaking English. When you're learning English, you don't have to follow a linear path of doing the easy thing and then the more difficult thing and then the most difficult thing. You can do things how you want. You can learn how you want. So I encourage you to still watch this video, even if you're not advanced. Okay, let's get started. Look at these two sentences. He enjoys reading books. It is books that he enjoys reading. What is the difference between them? So they mean the same thing, but the difference is emphasis. In the first sentence, there isn't really any particular emphasis on anything. But in the second sentence, there is an emphasis on books. So he is specifically interested in reading books, not magazines, for example. So this specific grammar structure is called a cleft sentence. And when I teach grammar, I don't really like to use complicated words to talk about terminology, but you don't have to know what this structure is called in order to use it correctly. But it's just something I want to mention. So they're cleft sentences. So now I want to ask you to turn something into a cleft sentence. Mary won the competition, not James. How do you make this into a cleft sentence? It was Mary who won the competition. So in this sentence, the emphasis is on Mary. It was Mary, not James. Did you like how I explained this grammar rule? I use the same method to teach about grammar and vocabulary inside my English Grammar membership, which contains 17 video courses about English grammar and vocabulary. And it also has a student forum where you can ask me questions. You can check out the link in the video description. But now let's move on to the second advanced English rule. So the second rule is also about adding emphasis. Look at this dialogue. I know you didn't really like the exhibition. I did like some of it. I did like some of it. So instead of saying I liked some of it, I said I did like some of it. So that is another way to add emphasis to a sentence, especially when somebody says something that you think is incorrect and you want to correct them. I did actually like some of it. So in this grammar structure, there is no D at the end of like. So instead of saying I liked it, you need to say I did like it. There is no D. I know your brother doesn't live in Paris. He does live in Paris. So again, you want to emphasize that it's actually true that your brother lives in Paris. But instead of just saying he lives in Paris, you can emphasize it by saying he does live in Paris, especially that you want to contradict something that is not true. Okay, the next rule is also about adding emphasis. It's negative inversion. Here's an example. Never have I seen such a beautiful sunset. Compare this with, I have never seen such a beautiful sunset. What is the difference between them? In the first one, I really want to emphasize that I have definitely never seen such a beautiful sunset. So it's just a way to add emphasis. And you do that through inversion. So you put never at the start and then you invert the subject and the verb. So it looks a bit like a question. Never have I seen such a beautiful sunset. You can do the same thing with rarely. We rarely venture into the city at night. To add emphasis, put rarely at the start and invert the subject and the verb. Rarely do we venture into the city at night. Okay, the next one is about phrases like to demand that, to suggest that, to recommend that. I demand that you submit your homework today. So as you can see, after demand that, we've got the verb in the basic form, submit. You submit. But when it's about somebody else, for example, Joe, the verb is also in the basic form. I demand that Joe submit his homework today. So there is no S at the end. It's a bit confusing, but it's correct. Number 5, appositive phrases. Again, don't worry about the terminology. It doesn't matter what they're called. I'll show you an example to help you understand what I mean. My brother, a doctor, is coming to visit. This means the same as my brother, who is a doctor, is coming to visit. So this is just a shorter way to say the same thing. You are using the phrase in the middle to describe my brother. Jane, a talented artist, painted the mural. Jane, who is a talented artist, painted the mural. They are the same thing. Just remember the commas, they're very important. The next one is using should instead of if. Marker pens are in the cupboard. Should you ever need one? Marker pens are in the cupboard if you ever need one. So this is a way to write a conditional sentence. But instead of if, you have should, and it means the same thing. The only thing is that with should, the verb after it is always in the basic form. So there is no third person version of the verb. Should a customer wish to cancel their booking, they need to let us know. It means the same as if a customer wishes to cancel their booking. But because there's should, there is no S at the end of wish. This is quite formal and you will most likely just see it in legal writing or on certain signs. It's not something that you will often hear in a conversation. The next one is perfect participle clauses. It sounds confusing, but it's really easy. Having got dressed, he went downstairs. It means that the first action was finished before the second action started. So first he finished getting dressed and then he went downstairs. Having had breakfast, Lucy went to work. So first she finished having breakfast and then she went to work. So for this you need having, the third form of a verb, so the past participle, and that's it. And the final one is causatives. I had my car washed yesterday. What does that mean? It means that somebody else washed my car. It doesn't matter who. The main thing is my car is clean because I had it washed. You can use have or get. For example, I need to get my bike fixed. I need to have my bike fixed. They're the same thing. It means I need somebody to fix my bike. Okay, let's do a practice exercise. Tell me the correct answer. I think James doesn't speak French. I heard him speak French yesterday, so he... French. What's the correct answer? He does speak French. So this is a way to add emphasis. My neighbour is very friendly. What's the correct answer? My neighbour, a German painter, is very friendly. So this means the same as my neighbour who is a German painter is very friendly. Don't forget the commas. Having watched the news, I watched a film. What happened first? Watching the news or watching the film? Watching the news was first. How many did you get right? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to check out my English grammar membership. I've included the link in the video description. It's a great way to learn English grammar and vocabulary to help you speak English without mistakes. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!